This is a story about 4 communities who have housing issues and have been assisted by BESG through training and process facilitation to engage with government around their development needs. Our objective is to create agency in communities so that they understand the policies around accessing land, security of tenure, basic services, and housing. Knowledge provides the means to ensure that they are heard and role players in the housing industry are held to account for the delivery of services for those in need.
Built Environment Support Group is celebrating 35 years this year in 2018. The name originates because in the early 1980s we were defending the right of indigenous households to live in informal settlements. People were moving into towns and cities partly for economic reasons and partly because of political violence in KwaZulu-Natal. We then moved on in 1994 in the new dispensation to support communities who needed technical knowledge to be able to drive their own development. We're still very much in that space.
My name is Kulega Nimfega. I work for the Built Environment Support Group. I started working for BESG in 2007 as a facilitator. In the course of my work at BESG, I have been exposed to immense technical and participatory development skills and expertise from within the organization and also other like-minded professionals outside the organization. I have also been exposed to a huge network of organizations nationally who work towards the same vision of adequate housing for the poor.
This area here is key to the plan.
Ikhaya lami lokuzalwa liseMatatiyela kodwa ke ngeza la eMkhundeni ngahlala la eMkhundeni ngo-1985.
Nomlindelo wagumede ngihlala eSiyathuthuka area phase 1. Njengoba ibikwa lenkinga esibhekene nayo zithini impendulo siyathola yini usizo noma cha asazi noma siyathola yini usizo kuyimanje.
Ndandiqhamuka ngapha ngaseSherwood ndaqala ndibona iforeman esithi umzala wami siya kulanda ndazothi no uchithwe izinto kukho abantu abangahlala kanti ndingayazi kwayinto ekuthiwa amatyotyomo.
Sisebenza la eMpophomeni na kwaShifu naseMashingeni kodwa indawo vele efolisha ngaphansi kwaseMpophomeni. Khathi esiningi amanzi ayaphela kubona abanye ke kuze uthola ukuthi njenganaphesheya nje kwaShifu baze basupplywe ama-water tankers.
Ngoba nje bonke labantu abangazi bakhala.
Kodwa ke oJojo abekho enough ngoba kunabantu abasuka kude. Umehluko ukhona impela siyawubona le pressure ikwazi ukuthi ifinyelele kahle bangabi nenkinga yokuthi babe selobaya koJojo amanzi aphume empompini njengokujwayelekile.
Saqoshwa la eMkhundeni. Khona umfana okuthiwa uBoy wakwaMkhize. Kanti ngenhlanhla uzositholela uBESG.
The support functions we served were to initially defend them against demolition, police dogs and bulldozers.
Ukuchithwa kwemijondolo yona nto ibhlungu nyani. Uqwalasela ba ukuchithwa kwemijondolo kukho isections ezithile kwinansika kwi-constitution ezitshoyo nje uba awunaka ukuchitha umjondolo womuntu kwi-48 hours ngaphandle kuba umnike i-alternative accommodation. But ufumaniseka kuba abantu bakarhulumente bayafika baphule lo mthetho kodwa lo mthetho siuxelelwa ngawo.
Much as most of our subsidised housing in the country is provided by the state, it hasn't been without its problems. We have communities who've complained they've waited 20 years or more to see development in spite of many promises made every 5 years when there's an election.
System esetshenziswa ngurhulumente isingathi yabenza abantu basemjondolo bakhetheleke ecaleni bona abekho inclusive kwezi zinto ebekufanele ba ziyenzeka senzeka emiphakathi.
We've had communities who have been living in defective housing, sometimes very dangerous conditions.
Uma sebexosha abantu esakha sabopheka ukuthi sibone ukuthi sibalekelaphi sabalekela kulo BESG.
The Mkundeni Saka community came to us in 2006 when the chairman of the development committee found application to the High Court for an eviction order posted to a lamppost near his house. They were served with arbitrary eviction, which is against the provisions of legislation. People have to be offered reasonable alternative accommodation. So we formed a partnership with Lawyers for Human Rights and took the case on appeal to the Supreme Court in Bloemfontein, which supported the community's cause.
UBESG waze wasithwala wasisa eBloemfontein. Uma sifika eBloemfontein waliqula icala waze waliwina yena. Waze kwaba abantu baphezulu bayayithola indawo bayahlala.
One of the other communities featured in this film, Tuka Phase 1 in Richmond. That area was developed about 13 or 14 years ago. People are living in a 20 square meter single room house. About 2/3 of the housing has suffered failed foundations. The roof sheeting is cut too short, so whenever there's a high wind, the roof blows off, or at least lets rainwater in. And about 40% of the area has groundwater sewage because of failed sanitation system.
Ukuthola ukuthi phezulu kweminyango kunama cracks enzakalayo. Lama cracks ngesikhathi yenzeka ngaphandle iziqhamukele ngaphakathi. If ukuthi kunomoya omkhulu, uthayela lo wethu awukwazi ukuthi uhlale kahle uyanyakaza. Sesakwazi ukuthi sibeke itini phezulu kwezindlu ukuze indlu ingakwazi ukuthi umuvu uthayela.
Mina ngokholeka wangandadane ngihlala la eSiyathuka. I-toilet ngalikhipha ngathenga elifrashwayo. Mangifrasha kuye esitamkokweni ngaqasha abantu bangibela isitamkoko silaphe enzansi engadini. Ngasingathenga ipayipi. Likhona iconsi enginethiza kambi. Lapha emakhabetheni ayangena amanzi.
2017 January sibe ne-community report back after siqeda ukwenza i-research project yethu kade simepha ama-defects kwi-community. Sithe masireporta back lapho i-community yakhetha ukuthi i-first option after ama-recommendations ka-BESG akube ukuthi sithatha i-matter to i-public protector. I-option enye futhi kwakuwukuthi sithathe i-administrative route okuyona le ebikade izoqala ukuthi sireporte kumasipala kuya ku-province kanjalo njalo.
Uthe uma ufika uBESG la kuthina uqashe thina abahlali bala eSiyathuka. Sakwazi ukuthi sithole lo masente kade ehlele ekhaya singasebenzi. Sathola ama skills amaningi.
BESG has pioneered community consumer education so that people understand every phase of the development cycle. They understand what government policies are supposed to provide for them, and if they are subject of government subsidized housing, at least they have the knowledge to know what should be provided to them, what their entitlement is, what their responsibilities are as homeowners, and finally how to hold government to account to ensure that they deliver what they promise. In 2013, the community was promised a rectification contract. The Department of Human Settlements was going to come back and fix everything that their contractors had done that was failing. We took a year to get the report to the Department of Human Settlements, and it took a further year to get Richmond Municipality to write just a letter to Human Settlements asking for their assistance, not to do a rectification project. We came up with a much more novel solution, which province terms rehabilitation, but it basically means repairing those houses in situ. After a year of no response from Richmond Municipality, we eventually had to lodge a complaint with the Office of the Public Protector on the community's behalf. Within 2 weeks, that letter was forthcoming with an apology due to instability in the municipality, and we are now putting pressure on the province to deliver on the promise they made last year to launch a pilot project and address people's problems. Two of the communities that you see in this film are classic examples of how BESG supports communities through every stage of the development cycle. By 2012, the administration at the time in Msunduzi municipality resolved to expropriate the underlying land and upgrade the area incrementally. 6 years later, we still have a situation where 1,500 families survive on 3 standpipes. They have no toilets provided by the municipality. There's no refuse collection service. There was an attempt to put a tender out for temporary housing in December 2016. It has not happened. And had it happened, people would have been very upset to find out that the toilets would not be in the houses, they would be elsewhere on site. That project seems to come to a grinding halt. We've also had a huge problem with 900,000 of the 2.7 million households the government says it's housed to date don't have the title deeds to prove that they own the house they live in.
The best part of my work at BESG is when I see people who previously didn't have any information, people that were discouraged, and through the work that we do with them, they're able to gain confidence and are able to assert their development rights with government.
We don't just work with communities in consumer education so that they know how to engage with government. There are also 2 national policies which support communities being directly involved in their own development, and this is very much core to BESG's work over the past 25 or so years. The first one is called the Informal Settlement Upgrading Program. This recognizes that many communities choose to live near places of potential employment, and the area which they are living on can be upgraded incrementally. First of all with the provision of basic services, and in time, as funds permit, the area can be fully upgraded with top structures and people receiving title deeds. The other program is called the Enhanced People's Housing Process. This policy basically allows communities to play the role of developer instead of a local municipality, with BESG providing technical and administrative support in the housing delivery process.
Siyafuna uhulumeni asilalele izinto esizidingayo.
As iMayibuye People's Movement eyabantu based here in Foreman Road, we want to appeal to the government that the people who are living in the shacks are not animals. They are human beings. They need to be treated accordingly. They need also to be respected, just because these are the people whom the government is using to vote for them.
Okunye ngalandela kodwa masithola amanzi sathola umgaqo ngangcono kabi.
Futhi ngiyabonga kwabaka BESG ukuthi basukumile.